Erin from Best Life Physical Therapy, and I'm here today to show you how to do some exercises using Proprioceptive Neuromuscular Facilitation, or PNF for short, to stretch your shoulder. A lot of times when we have some tightness in the shoulder, it's painful to get into the stretching positions. So what we're going to use is a way to stretch the muscles and the joints without pain. So the way that we're going to do that is, one of the first motions I want to start working with is this motion of external rotation. We're going to pretend like it's the right shoulder we're trying to stretch today. So in order to get this motion to come out this way, we're going to take our stick, any kind of stick will do, a broomstick or a golf club, even a lightweight umbrella will work for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to keep your elbow into your side, and one of the things we're always going to try to do when we're doing any stretching with the shoulder is keep the shoulder blade kind of pulled back together and down. One of the compensations that your shoulder will make when it's hurting and stiff and tight is it'll start kind of going like this. So in order to get that shoulder joint to start moving the proper way, we want to keep the shoulder blade back and down so that when we bring our arm up, it doesn't come up by your shoulder like that. So that's kind of, before all of these, you're going to want to do that. So the first one we're going to do is external rotation. So kind of bring your hands wide on the stick and as comfortable, and then keep your elbow right in by your side and press the arm out to the side. Once you've gotten to the point where you really can't go anymore because it hurts, then you're going to stop right there and you're going to use some contraction with this right hand to push toward the left hand. The left hand's going to resist. So you'll hold that for 8 seconds. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax, and then actually don't let it come this direction, actually go a little bit farther that way. And you'll notice that you can, and it may be just a millimeter that you're able to move. So instead of inching, like a verb inching, we're just going to millimeter a little bit further out to the side, and then you're going to repeat that pressure inward, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then millimeter a little bit farther. And it should not be painful. It should feel like a stretch though. And then we'll do that another time. So push inward again, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then millimeter out farther. So you maybe started right here and then you got like that far. That's good, that's progress, and that's all we're looking for with every session. So the next thing, and you may hold that out there for say 30 seconds or so, but the key is that it shouldn't be painful, it just should feel like a stretch. The second stretch that we're going to do is to gain some motion coming up this direction. So a lot of times we're tight this way and we're tight going up. So what we're going to do for that one is you're going to go ahead and straighten your arm out, and you may only be right here, and that's okay. But what you're going to do is push down into the other hand and push down for 8 sets. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm pushing my right arm down toward the floor. I'm bringing the shoulder blade back and making sure it's not coming up by my ear. Press down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Maybe you could even put the stick on your leg and maybe inch up a little bit, so my hand lets go of that spot that I was pushing down and inches up a little bit. Grab a new spot right there, maybe get a little stretch. Let that stretch, take a couple deep breaths. That gives you an opportunity to kind of relax, make sure your neck is staying free and easy, and then go ahead and press down again into the stick, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you can inch up maybe. And if that's uncomfortable to try to inch up, you could always take your other hand and push up like that to gain a little bit more motion. And we may be talking, if you have a frozen shoulder, we may be talking about a millimeter, but at least you're getting a little progress and you're getting a little stretch, and it's not painful to do the stretching. Another way that you can do that stretching, if you have maybe a counter height or something like that, and you can kind of lean in like that along the counter, and if you've kind of stretched it like this with your stick, and then you want to go over to your counter and kind of lean in and do a little bit more stretching, because if you lean forward on that counter, it's going to basically stretch that arm a little bit further out. The big thing with that is try to make sure your thumb is pointing upward so that you're not pinching and impinging in the rotator cuff muscle. and just kind of lean in and just do some easy motions. And as long as it's pain-free, then you're all good and you're getting nice stretching that we want to do every day when we're dealing with a tight joint. The next motion that we want to work on is going to be going behind the back. Now this is a very functional position because a lot of times we have to pull our pants up, we've got to get our jacket on, got to reach for the reach back for the seatbelt in the car. So what you're going to do for this motion is take your hands about like this on the stick and push back into where you feel a tightness there. Once you've gotten to the point where it's tight but not painful, resist it. So you're going to use your opposite arm to hold the stick, push forward. Does not have to be a jerky motion. You'll hold that for 8 seconds. Make sure the shoulder is back and down, not coming up towards your ear, and then push farther to where you feel a stretch. Should not be painful, and repeat that for 3 repetitions. Now, the last and the tightest position, and it's a functional position as well, is going to be going behind the back. So that can actually be very painful to try to move it that way. So you might just take your other arm and place it in this arm. But what you're going to do is go ahead and with the arm behind the back, the goal is to reach the arm back here behind the back. So what you're going to do with that is go ahead and try to pull it up a little bit wherever your range of motion is. And then once you've got there, you're going to pull downward with your affected arm, resisting with your opposite arm. It's going to be a workout for that opposite arm. Hold that for 8 seconds, and then once you've held that, then you'll go ahead and let it come up 1 millimeter or so. Not much, just as much as you can without pain, and then repeat that 3 times as well. And then after you're finished with that stretch, you may be able to kind of come up and down a little bit, using your unaffected arm to kind of pull up and pull down so that you get a nice little motion, because I always say that if we gain some motion with our stretching, we don't want to lose it. So you want to reinforce that with some active range of motion after the stretching session. So, just as a review, we've gone over the motions like this. So you can do 10 of these like that after you've done your stretches. Just easy. It shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't be painful. 10 of these, or like I said, you could do that sliding your arm on a countertop and stretching that way. Then we've got 10 behind, going backward like so. Try to get that motion back there. And we just did the 10 behind the back where you come up and down. Now there's one motion that we haven't talked about yet, and that's abduction. It's probably the hardest one. A lot of times when people have a tight shoulder, they end up kind of going like this for the whole abduction. So we can come out to the side like this, stop where you can. If you start to do this number, you've got to back off, bring it back down. I want those shoulders to be level when you're doing this. So none of this when you're trying to do it. It's got to be kind of down here, up until where you feel the stretch. And then you're going to push downward, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come up a little bit farther and hold it there. A couple of deep breaths there, and then repeat it 2 more times, following with your 10 active range of motions. And that is your PNF stretching for your shoulder using a stick. It's a great way to restore that motion in your shoulder, and it's a way to do it without so much pain.